Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, citizens of YouTube. This is Pastor Dow. I received many requests asking me questions about silver over and over and over again. And from what I can ascertain, people want somebody to be able to speak to them very simple and in layman's terms. And that's the intention of my video here this morning. Is I intend on trying to give you just a quick video here explaining money and what it is in layman's terms. So I don't have a lot of time to go back into history and to try to give you a complete understanding of how money came about. But I'm going to sum it up as simple as I can, without using a lot of terms that you hear a lot of us using on YouTube. I want to keep it very simple for you people out there. Okay. Of course, you know I'm a pastor. And so many years ago, probably about 5,000, 6,000 years ago, somewhere along in that time frame, the scriptures teach that gold and silver was used as a medium of exchange to exchange for goods and services. Now, goods and services are things that you are able to go to the grocery store and pick up, commodities, food, beans, rice, milk, eggs. Services would be gasoline, things that you'll buy for the upkeep of your home. And so that will be the medium of exchange, and also how people would get paid. And matter of fact, it was that way for a long time. So throughout the annals of times, many empires have come and gone, and what they have sought to do over and over and over again. That's the reason why I teach us that we must be a student of history. Because if we don't understand history, and if we're not a student of history, we're destined to repeat the same mistakes from the past. And no doubt we haven't learned anything after about 5,000 or 6,000 years of history. We're still repeating the same mistakes. So what you have to do in order to avoid the mistakes that the people who are quote unquote your legislative leaders are committing, you have to hedge or protect yourself from their ignorance, their chaotic, dismal ignorance. And so empires have come and empires have gone, and each one of them have always tried to introduce into their societies, their countries, or what is called today fiat currency. That's what this is. This is a $100 bill, but the truth is it's fiat currency. It is paper. It is no better than the paper of this little slip right here, or this piece of paper right here. That's the value and the worth of it. It was alleged to be believed, and it used to reflect it on this paper currency, that you could take this, whatever note or denominational value that is on here. This is a $100 bill. You could take this $100 bill, go to any bank or any medium of exchange, coin shop or whatever, and you could actually get physical money, whether it be silver or gold, because this paper was supposed to be backed up by what we call today tangible assets. Tangible assets has always been metals: gold, silver, copper, palladium, platinum, and etc., and nickel. It goes on and on and on. That's what real true money is, things that are of value. Now, what happened is that the empires that have come and gone, each one of them decided they were going to get away from sound money, which is gold and silver, or tangible assets: money, silver, gold. And so they inflated their currencies. Today you'll hear terms that they use, just so you can get familiar with these terms that they use continually on TV or even here on YouTube. They will use terms like quantitative easing or monetizing the debt, which, you know, every time a politician is open up their mouth, they're lying. You have to understand, politicians are lawyers, and lawyers are not, they don't go to school to learn the art of truth. They go to school to learn the art of strategy and deception, how to lie, how to become professional liars. And so the politicians, the lawyers, and everybody that you pretty much meet outside of a simple homestead are usually a bunch of stage players, or what we would call hypocrites. So somehow, some way, there's been many hypocritical deals done under the table over time, and we're going to fast forward up to now, to where even they passed this thing on us called the Federal Reserve Act, and then they also passed many other things where in this country in 1933 they did, whether people like it or not, by force of rule, confiscate the gold. And actually said that if you did not turn in your gold, because governments know what is tangible assets, that you would be subject to a prison term of 10 years. And if they found any on you and you didn't turn it in, they would double the amount of years. So they use force and coercion to get people to turn in their money whenever you get people who go to these schools of so-called higher learning and get MBA degrees. And all these different, whether it be a Keynesian school, the Australian School of Economics, it makes no difference. What they do is they allegedly go to school to get smarter, and every single one of them seem to be making the same dumb mistakes over and over and over again. And we, the people, continue to keep suffering for it. So what they've done is they've actually taken us off of the gold standard. See, these fiat currency used to be backed up by gold, so they took us off of the gold standard. And they took us off the gold standard for one reason alone, and it's really called it's really truthfully called a Ponzi scheme. Because see, now these dollars that we have, they're not backed up by anything but the good word of the United States of America. Now, given history, how good is that word? You have to be the one to determine how good that word is. And so it's amazing that we have been duped and deceived into believing that silver and gold is actually not money. They're actually metals. That's what they've been telling us. And so many of us who are in this generation, when we say money, we believe this is money, but this is currency. This silver coin is real, true money, because it is a physical, tangible asset. That's exactly what it is. Now, so now what we have is we have a banking institution called the Federal Reserve. Now you have to understand, the Federal Reserve, as you've heard many times, is no more federal than the Federal Express. And so now we have a bunch of private bankers who prints money out of thin air, and the money is only backed up by the good word of the federal government, and they back it up by the labor from your back through taxes. That's the reason why you'll hear me use the term over and over again. We're being taxed without representation, because the people who are allegedly supposed to be representing us in the White House, or I call it the outhouse, are not representing the people, but they only represent the interests of the corporations and the military industrial complex. And if you want to understand more of those terms, go back in my archives and look at more videos to educate yourself. So we have been duped and deceived into believing that currency that is backed up by the so-called good word of the American government is actually money, and this has no value whatsoever at all. While this is allegedly having no value whatsoever at all, and this is a silver bar, 10-ounce silver bar, this continually to keep rising again and again and again. Now, don't quote me, but I'm going to give you an example. I believe it was about this same time last year that you could purchase this bar for $195. Today, this same 10-ounce bar, 1 year later, is worth $350. Did you hear what I said? $350. Did you hear what I said? That's how much this bar is worth today. So they created a thing called a stock market where people could invest into stocks. Stocks, again, is nothing more than a paper contract or paper. And what they would do is have you to become what they would call an invested owner. That's like, and they'll use things continually over and over again to play on the public's ignorance. They juggle concepts, they juggle words, they juggle theories and ideas, all to keep you deceived. And so people have bought into buying stocks or putting money into companies that they would hope that they would be able to grow their investments by. And so what has happened is because these companies have taken the people money and they've actually lined their own pockets and stuff. Now, it's like the other day I went into Lowe's. They used to have their share price. For instance, you could buy a share of stock in Lowe's for, at one time, it was $62.42 a share. I went there the other day and they actually had it erased. You know the reason why? Probably because now the value of the company is so low that they don't even want to post it. So the actual stocks in itself has plummeted and they're not worth nothing. So what they've done is they have deceived the people through paper contracts, and they have had and made the people to believe that this is money. But now, you know that this money is losing value in many different ways. And let me speak as simple as I can. When you go to your gas pump and you see prices going through the roof like they are now, here in Tennessee, the average price for a gallon of gas, regular unleaded, is $3.19, and you'll pay $3.50 for diesel. When you see prices going up like that, and when you go to your store and you buy a particular thing of ice cream, notice I'm saying thing because it used to be a certain size, or you get a bag of chips, no matter whatever is going on. See, what our people do, or what the corporations, everybody is doing, is deceiving you. They're deceiving you because they're trying to make you think that there's no such thing as inflation. Where the truth is there is inflation. They just have used deceptive ways and terms to deceive you, the people, so that you don't understand. So when you go to the store and you buy some ice cream, you think you're still getting the same half gallon. Look at the size of it again. It has reduced. The amount of quantity of goods that you get now or you receive has reduced, but you're still either paying the same price or greater. And prices have gone up extraordinary. And you'll notice that the bag of chips actually contain less chips and more air. And they do this to make you think that you're receiving the same amount of product to deceive you. But actually, the real truth is it's just another way, if you can get this in your head and mind, that this dollar or this $100 bill is losing purchasing power or value. Now, they have told us, because, 10 years ago, you could buy a Silver Eagle. Do you see that? That's a Silver Eagle. That's a 1 ounce Silver Eagle. You could buy this 1 ounce Silver Eagle for anywhere from $2 to $5, at most $8. All right. Today, this Silver Eagle, out the door, no matter where you go, you're going to pay either $35 or $40 an ounce. You know the reason why? Because whenever this loses value, and it has, and it has never been any good anyway, this continues to gain in value. So if you want to hedge yourself against inflation, if you want to protect yourself against inflation, you don't want to invest in any type of paper whatsoever at all. I've get all kinds of day traders on here contacting me on YouTube, trying to do everything they can to change my mind to not put out these videos to inform you, the general public. Because not only do I have people who have deep pockets that contact myself, as well as some of the other people who invest in what we call tangible assets, listen to me, because it's having a great effect upon the stocks and the investments in this country. People are taking my advice. Well, what is my advice? Take this out of the bank and put it into something tangible, physical, not where it is stored clear across the world or in some bank where you have to pay a fee for them to store this for you, but stored in your own home, around your own security system, to where you can get your hands on it. And our government, our system, don't want people to hear stuff like that, because they want you to continue to be duped and deceived until this crashes, and then you're left without nothing. So as this depreciates in value and you're losing your purchasing power every single day, this is gaining in value and purchasing power every single day. This is gaining. So this is how you hedge yourself, with physical, tangible assets, not with a paper contract or with fiat, phony, monopoly currency. So now the value of the US dollar has lost its sway and its power worldwide. And because it's lost its sway and its power worldwide, nobody or no nations can no longer trust in this as the world's reserve currency. So pretty soon this is going to fail and it's going to be worthless. And as they were carrying around wheelbarrows full of this money to start fires with in Weimar Republic over in Germany, we're going to be doing the same thing here in this country. But if you're smart enough to understand what I just got finished saying, and you can invest in tangible assets, silver or gold, you can protect yourself, because when all empires fail, everybody, every single one of them throughout history has always had to go back to physical assets, meaning gold or silver. And if they printed any of this, it had to be backed up. Now, the only way you can get out of this is if they have another group of so-called people who are deceivers and stage players and liars get up there and then turn around and lie to you and get you to believe that this is money again. You see, your politicians, all your elected officials, Tea Party, whoever they may be, they do not represent your interests. They never have represented your interests. When they leave the state or county where they're from and they get up there in their White House, there are people up there who are powerful people who have influence, and people who will kill them if they do not vote and pass certain laws. So that's the reason why you have to learn how to have a mind of self-preservation, to where you're not trusting in any country or any economy for your living. That's why I teach self-preservation. You see, if you follow what I'm saying, you won't have to be out in the streets in downtown or any metropolitan area, or neither will you have to be making a run on a White House, because you have exercised self-autonomy. Now, for once, listen to me real close. Don't believe anything that any politician or any news media is saying in this country, because they're all liars. Every one of them. They're all liars. They're deceivers. And they're all workers of Satan. Because if you store food, your government that you trust in would actually pass laws to make you or some type of vigilante or some type of tyrannical bully, because you store the food and you protected yourself from what they wouldn't do, because you took self-responsibility for your own life. So I'm telling you, they will actually come after you on stuff like that. And that's why I tell you that you need to learn what self-preservation means. So, and you can do one or two things here. You can trust the government to take care of you, or you can take care of yourself. So that's why my advice has always been, do not go into debt. Pay yourself first. This is stuff my grandmother used to teach me when I was a little bitty boy. And that pay yourself first is when you get paid, a paycheck, paper and fiat currency, take a portion of that and put it into physical, tangible assets and just let it sit. It will grow in value, because this is failing. And if you don't want to be part of the crew that is out there rioting in the streets and marching on the government, where, our government will turn and shoot at citizens. They will do that. And you want to just try to live a quiet and peaceable life, then follow my direction. So I tell you, and my instruction is to get physical, tangible assets. Something that you can actually hold in your own hands, and you know that it's growing in value while this is losing in value. The only answer that our government has is a printing press. We've run out of options worldwide. Nobody wants our dollar. Everybody is fleeing it like the sinking Titanic. The whole world is. So I thought that I'd come in here and make this video to try to help you, the simple people. So that's the reason why Pastor Dow ask us over and over again. Some people say, well, look at you got them investing in them silver and stuff and stuff like that. Nah. And people actually think that because they have this in their pocket, that this is money. The day is coming in this country where you're not going to be able to take this particular bill and go to any store or any place and purchase anything. You're going to need this. Do you have physical? I hope that I was able to bring about some form of understanding, is my prayer.